Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I am gonna show you how you can update your profile on login using PHP and AJAX. I am going to break this video in two parts. In first part, I will show you user details updation, and in second part, profile picture updation. Let's get started then. I am updating first name and last name here. As you can see, both the fields are updated. Now I will change the password. It also has been changed. Let's change this profile picture. See, profile picture is changed now. Now let's log out from this page. Enter your email address, and for now, let's input the old password. Here you can see the error message, so we have to enter the new password. Now it's logged in and you can see the first name and last name and profile pic has been changed. In my previous video, I have created a login form. In this video, after login, the page redirects to the welcome page. Instead of this, I have designed another page called user.php. I will create this page in this video. Note, I will only explain you the back-end part, not the front-end part. I will use the same database. Let's start writing the code. I have already designed the page in the same folder. Change the redirection URL for the login button to user.php. As you can see, now after login, page redirects to the user page instead of welcome page. Now, give this logout button in URL logout.php. It is working properly. Next, we have to fetch the data for this logged in user. For this, create a file called fetch.php in the same folder. We will check that if any email session is set, then that session will stored in the email name variable. Otherwise, if any email or password cookie is set, then that email cookie will save in the same name variable. Now let's write the code for this. Next, write the fetch code. This query selects all the data from the table where email is equal to this. Fetch all the columns data. Now, go to the user page and include the config and fetch.php file. Start the session in the config file. Now I am using these variables to fetch the data. This is the Uploads folder. I will talk about this later. Now let's check that our data is fetched or not. As you can see, data is properly fetched. This is the data which has been fetched. Now we have to write the code for this button. This is the user profile form. When we click on this button, this editable form will appear instead of this form. Let's write this code using jQuery AJAX. First, create a page called edit.php. Give this button an URL edit.php. Now as you can see, the URL goes to edit.php. Let's design this page. Go to user.php. This div contains the user profile form. Give this div an ID called result. I am removing these IDs, as I don't need it. Copy this div section and paste it in your edit page. Remove this ID from here if you want. We have to convert these boxes into input type fields, so remove these variables and insert input field instead of it. Pass the value for each input field. We cannot change the email address, so there's no need to insert the input type here. Create another row for submit button. This is custom class. This is the CSS for this class that I have added in my CSS file. Now I will add the jQuery AJAX code in my user.php file. First of all, add the jQuery CDN. Search jQuery AJAX. Copy this link and paste it in your user.php file under this head tag. Let's write the code now. Start the jQuery syntax. You have to give this button a class. I am giving edit button here. Using this class, we will write our code. This code means, when we click on this button, then the edit.php will be called using the get method. This will bring the URL. Now, let's check what we will get after clicking this button. As you can see, it displays the URL, edit.php. Now let's remove this alert method, and continue the previous code. Using this callback function, the editable form inside the edit.php file appears in that div section whose ID is result. Now we have to work on our edit file. First of all, include config and fetch file here also. Now let's check that is it working or not. As you can see, edit.php files, editable form is appearing here. Change this div's top margin. Now I can able to edit my information. Change the name of this button. Next, we will add the jQuery AJAX code for this page, so that we can update our information. First, add the form with an ID myform. And then give each field except email field an ID. I am using the same name for the IDs. Using these IDs, we will store the value for these inputs in a variable. This code means, when we submit the form, this alert method will display the value of the input field whose ID is first name. Let's test this code. As you can see, it is displaying the first name value. Similarly, we will store all input fields value in another variables. Next, we have to add the AJAX code. Create a page called edit_in.php. In this page, we will write our PHP validation code. Pass the data that we have to send with this page. Create a div with ID disp message. In this div, we will going to show the error or success messages. Let's write the code for this now. As we are not able to edit this email, so let's add CSS for this field so that it looks different. This means, first column of the second row in the div user account, and his email input is in the paragraph tag, that's why pSelector is added here. Let's add CSS for this column name also. Let's see how it looks. As you can see, our front-end part for edit_in.php file is completed. Now we will write its back-end code. First of all, include config file. This is the data we had sent using AJAX. So, this code means if first name, last name and password is set, then it will get stored in same name variables. This is the session that I have created in my login page video. Using this session we will update the information. Now, we will check that if these three fields are empty, then empty fields error message will be shown, otherwise, the information will be updated using update query. This is the update query. If the data gets updated, then this message will appear in the disk message div. Otherwise, this message will be shown. Now, let's try to update the information. As you can see, data is updated. Let's check in our database. This is the data which I am fetching. It has been updated here also. Let's change the password. I am not able to edit it. Let's see what is the problem with this. Oh, I forgot to remove this read-only attribute. Let's change the password now. As you can see, the password is changed. So, our data gets successfully updated using update query. But the password is not stored in the encrypted form in the database. To do this, we have to create a variable called hash, and then we will encrypt the password using MD5 function. Now replace this to hash variable. Now let's change the password again. As you can see, it is now encrypted. Now let's log out from this page and sign in again. First, for testing purpose, I am entering the older password. It is showing me the error message because of the changed password. Let's enter the new password. We are successfully logged in. Now let's change this last name. Last name is updated, but there's a problem. Password is also changed. Let's try to log in with our new password. It is showing the error message because password is also changed during the updation of last name. This happens because of this encrypted password. When I will update the name or some other field except this password, it will also encrypt this encrypted password simultaneously. To prevent this, we have to add a code to check that, if our password is already encrypted using MD5 function, then this password variable will not encrypt, otherwise, it will get encrypted. Let's write this code. This pattern is responsible to check that password is encrypted or not. Let's check now, it is working or not. Before testing, I am changing this password here as I don't know what will be the decrypted form of this password. Save this password somewhere. Now let's try to log in and check our code. Now let's change last name. Let's see our password is changed or not. As you can see, password is not changed. It means our code is working properly. Now let's change the password to check that it gets encrypted or not. See, password is stored in the encrypted form. Now let's change this message. After updation, page will be redirected to the user.php. Let's check it is redirecting or not. Our redirection code is working properly. Let's add CSS for this div disk message. This div is showing before the error message. Let's fix this. Set its display to none. and go to edit.php, and after this success function, set disk message div display to block. Let's check how it works. Oops! It is again appearing after updation message. To prevent this, go to edit_in.php file, and before these messages, set disk message divs display to none. Now, as you can see, it has been fixed. We have completed our information updation part. In my next video, I will show you how you can update your profile picture. This is it for today. Hope you liked and learned something from this. If you do, then hit a like and subscribe to my channel. Bye.